Hi everyone, my name is Minjal Patel and I will be presenting my poster on behalf of our team. And so our project is titled Modeling the Irreversible Effects of Stress on HPA Access Responsiveness, the Role of FKBP5. So a little introduction regarding our project. Adverse childhood experiences encompass early life adversities. These adversities include abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction, and they have been shown to lead to adulthood pathologies, including diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and a range of cardiovascular diseases. ACEs are actually quite prevalent in the United States population as provided through these statistics here. And so in our project, we're developing and exploring in silico models of HP activity, particularly understanding how long-lasting effects of stress can be expressed through alternative mechanisms through changes in HPA access sensitivity. And so a model structure regarding our model is provided in the panel on the left here. So model one is what we've titled here. So this arrow here is essentially representing KP1, which is not only the value through which we have CRH being stimulated to be secreted by the hypothalamus, but it represents an overall activation of the HPA axis. It's also one of the terms through which we will be introducing sensitization, which I'll later discuss. So the hypothalamus then stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete ACTH, which stimulates the adrenal glands to secrete CORT. CORT then in the intracellular space bonds to free glucocorticoid receptors. And this complex we're denoting as DR. However, the activated complex is what we denote as DRN. This has been translocated into the nucleus where it can function as transcription factors. DRN has inhibitory roles on ACTH and CRH, and this will serve pertinent when we begin to understand how FKBP5 affects these inhibitory roles. DRN also inhibits the transcription of the glucocorticoid receptor. And so the panel on the right here, we have our set of differential equations that we've utilized from the schematic to model and how we've constructed our model. And so here, we've taken those equations and we begin to quantify transient increases in HPA sensitivity, again through KP1, and that has led to irreversible decreases of the activation threshold, or sigma. And the sigma has been updated following stressful periods. And so every time we stress the system, we've been seeing that CRH levels are consistently increasing. Similarly with CORT, we're seeing consistent spikes in secretion. And we see permanent changes in ACTH levels as well. And so updating the threshold renders HPA access permanently becomes increasingly sensitive to subsequent stressors, and we see a decline of this threshold value of sigma. We've then incorporated a variation of Model 1, which introduces sensitization through a reduction of the negative feedback regulation that DRN has on the secretion of CRH from the hypothalamus. And this is our modified CRH equation. And so here we see permanent increases in CRH and CORT, similar to previously, as well as a permanent decline in ACTH levels. We're now working on beginning to understand the role that FKBP5 mRNA specifically has on the negative feedback from DRN to KP1 and how it particularly the mRNA serves through a ultra short negative feedback role on the translocation of the activated receptor complex. And we've denoted this as model 2. We're still in the midst of developing this model as seen through these differential equations, but we want to understand how the gene specifically can lead to HPA access sensitization to similar results to we saw through model 1. And so some conclusions regarding our work, we know that early childhood adversities have been associated with endocrine dysfunction overall. Our models have explored HPA responsiveness to stress, as previously mentioned, through increased sensitivity and decreased threshold values. And we're currently working on understanding how this flexibility can be contributed through the modulatory effects of overexpression of the FKBP5 gene, which is one of the proposed mechanisms through which ACEs actually leads to adaptation in the population. And so that concludes my presentation and our poster. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to stop by the live Q&A session where we'll gladly answer your questions. Thank you so much.